Yo, this is the ancient Texan. I hate to say this, but America's unraveling. And I think there's two things at the center of this unraveling: our national debt and Trump. And I'll deal with the second one first. The fact that we have someone like Trump that's all show, mouth, provocation, hate, says something about our nation. The fact that he exists and is in power says more about the nation than it does Trump. The fact that the majority of people thought that Trump was a good idea um, speaks to the huge problems that we have that we're not dealing with as a country. Number two is the debt. Now, that actually, there's a lot of problems causing that debt, and the debt is leading to a lot more problems. And I don't, pardon me, I've got a cold and I'm struggling here a little bit. I'm going to leave the Trump hating, for someone else because I don't think that fixes anything. I think he's just a result of a lot bigger problems in this Nation. He's not the cause. He's the result of the problems that we have in this nation. And bashing Trump won't solve any of those problems. Let me just talk a little bit about debt. And I'm going to talk about this a lot more on a lot more podcast. I'm going to talk about the causes of the debt and what we need to do to get out of debt. One of the major topics I'm going to talk about, and this is probably going to surprise you, but supply chains. Um, right now, there's like 1,000 military systems that we can't build because we don't have the supply chains that require stuff like rare earths, gallium, germanium, neodymium. Uh, we don't have things like antimony to can't make utility shells, military artillery shells. Uh, we don't even have the enough basics like copper and steel and aluminum, just the basic building blocks. We've turned those all over to China, and over 50 years they've got in charge of all the supply chains. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And our society cannot function without supply chains. They've built supply chains all over the world, starting with the mines and contracts and agreements over 50 years. They're now cutting those supply chains off. Rare earths, antimony are just a few of the ones that they've decided to cut off. They have a lot more, And as those are cut off, America just will stop functioning. The US military is effectively crippled right now. More of their systems can't be built because of raw materials than can be built. And those supply chains to build the weapons are controlled by China. Hold that thought. We don't have the raw materials to build our military systems that protect this country. Because of our use of sanctions, a lot of countries are trying to get out from under the dollar. To buy oil in the past used to have dollars. So the only way to get dollars is to sell something to America and America sells something to you, and you sell more to America so you can get some dollars, and those dollars you go to the Saudis and buy oil. Simple system. You need dollars to buy oil. Saudis, starting January 1st, will take anybody's currency, not just dollars. So people don't need dollars. The one country that was financing us the most was China. They would buy our treasury notes, which is just like buying our dollars. They'd make stuff, would buy it. We send them a bunch of money. They send part of that money back to buy our treasury and earn interest on it. We had that system going for a long time. The tariffs ended that system, started a trade war. Now they're saying, okay, we're just going to hold back rare earths. Your military can't function anymore. You can't build chips. You can't build fiber optics. You can't build computer systems because we hold the supply chains. What are we doing? We're pretending like oil can. We've got number one on oil. We control that supply chain. Well, we're number one. There's a lot of number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that control oil. Saudis, number 2. Venezuela's down about number 10. And how are we earning money in this country? We do entertainment, movies. We're creating AI, but so is China. A lot of our money comes from controlling the dollar. Every time there's a transaction, every time people send money, you send money to the Saudis to buy oil with dollars, it goes through the banking system. The banking system takes a little fee here and there. You know how your banks treat you. They get money every time money's exchanged and every time you send it somewhere. Well, we've been collecting all this from all over the world. Everybody's tired of it and they're getting out from under it. We make military equipment and we sell it. But guess what? We can't make military equipment without the supply chains. So we've got debt. And the big problem there is our military expense and our Social Security and other uh, programs, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP. We've got all those expenses, and we've got a declining population. We're having more old people, less young people to support it. We don't have the materials to make the stuff that we sell to the world. And what is our administration doing right now? Getting more oil. We don't need more oil. We make more oil than the rest of the world put together. We certainly need more energy if we're going to do AI, but we've got all the oil we need, but we're shutting down new wind farms and solar farms. We're not building nuclear plants. China's building dozens of them. We're not building new modular nuclear plants and thorium-based power plants. China's doing that. Got one country. Denmark's got one. They're trying to get funding for to build based on thorium. So we've got a whole world that used to depend on us and depend on our dollar. When we sanctioned Russia, Iran, Venezuela, probably a half a dozen more, people learned that the U.S. could confiscate your national savings. They're getting out from under it. BRICS is the biggest, the one that's out in the top. Everybody's buying gold and silver to get away from the dollar, and they're setting up digital currencies. The whole world is leaving the U.S. They're leaving us by cutting us off from the raw materials. That's kind of self-induced, starting with the tariffs. They're getting away from us, not using the petrodollar anymore. They're going to use their own currency. They don't need to mess with us. They still want to buy our military systems, but guess what? We can't build them because China's cut off rare earths and half a dozen other elements, and they can cut off more when they get ready to. Are we facing any of these problems? No. We're doing something like blaming the immigrants. You know how much that's going to help with the debt? It's going to make it worse. We're losing people that, for the most part, are productive people. Now, they can't be Americans because we're not good enough people to give them working visas. We'd rather make an issue out of them and blame them for all our problems. But they're not the cause of our debt problems. Our debt problems are very real. We don't have enough young working people in good paying jobs to afford to take care of the old people, both with Social Security and health. We can't get the raw materials to build the stuff that we sell. That's starting to go for cars too. We can't get the raw materials because we've cut ourselves off with the tariffs. All that hasn't hit yet. But in 2026, things are going to start unraveling because our supply chains are broken. Some of it's self induced, some of it's China's decided it's time to pull the plug. But what we saw in the pandemic is nothing like what's coming. We do not have supply chains that the base of supply chains, which I'll do in some more videos, are mines. We don't Democrats, I'll blame you for not letting the mines get permitted. We don't have enough mines, and we've insulted our friends, and they're not sending us the supplies we need. Our supply chains have been completely choked off by this administration. We had a lot of inventory, and we've kind of been making do and scrambling, but it's going to get worse. It's going to become obvious. Supply chains are going to be the biggest word in the American vocabulary in 2026. And all these problems are leading to huge deficits, plus the fact that we don't tax the rich and we don't cut expenditures. We don't deal with the problems we're having. We have to deal with Social Security and the fact that we don't have enough money to keep it going. You can make people work longer, you can tax, keep the 7% Social Security tax uh, up to higher income levels. There's a lot of things that could be done to fix it, but we're not doing it. Supply chains, that's at least a decade to get our supply chains back and forth. And in the meanwhile, we're going to go through some really hard times before we get the supply chains up and built. You don't do a mine overnight. In America, it takes you 20 years just to get a permit. Uh, so we're trying to at least give the administration credit for trying to reduce the time to get permits, and Democrats need to cooperate with that. Our supply chains are broken. We're not doing enough taxation to cover our expenses. We're not cutting our expenses. We're basically not dealing with the debt. And what we're doing instead is blaming both sides as America goes down the tube. I'm going to put a lot of detail into these statements of mine, and I think if you're paying attention, you already know what I'm saying is true. But if you're not paying attention, I want to show you how we're not dealing with the problems that we've got. I want to outline the problems that we have and why our American economy is unraveling. And if you care about it and start dealing with the problems in your own head, you'll start electing people that promise to deal with these problems. You'll start electing people that say they're going to raise taxes. You'll elect people that say they're going to make permitting of mines easier. They're going to make it easier to permit smelters and refineries, chemical plants. You're going to elect people that say we need partners and friends to work with. You're going to elect people that say they're going to deal with the debt. You're going to elect people that say we're going to actively recruit immigrants that have the skill sets that we need to make more money as a country and have more money to deal with our debt. You're going to start doing things that people don't want to do but are responsible. If you want America to make it, We have to start dealing with our problems and quit banging the other side. Have strong discussions about what's the right solution to the problems, but quit bashing the other side. Quit acting like kids on a playground. We have to start doing things that are hard, and it's going to be painful, and we're all going to suffer for the next decade. Just get used to the idea. But if we get our nose back to the grindstone and start dealing with these problems, we're a great country and we can solve a lot of these problems. We can probably solve all of them if we put our mind to it. Quit looking for miracle cures. AI is not a miracle cure. It will not save America. Because our problem is not knowing. The problem isn't that we don't know what we need to do. We know what we need to do. We don't have the moral courage and to do it. If you want America to be great, you have to work at being great and doing what's responsible and what takes courage, dedication, and hard work. You as an individual have got to become great if you want America to be great. This is the Ancient Texan. I'll be back with a lot more details. I love you, America. And I'm sorry you're going through hard times. This is the Ancient Texan. Namaste.